All right. Hello, boys and girls. This is Old Man Yells at Cloud, working for my Patreon Blue Powder Monkeys, listening to Billy Joel's songs in the attic. You can look all that stuff up. Today, we are working on a kind of a fan fun project. This is the game Terraforming Mars, which is a board game. You can look that up. Well, I don't know why I'm talking to the microphone when I should be looking here and talking there. Anyway, I have played a lot of Terraforming Mars. I play on Board Game Arena. If anyone is interested in my username on Board Game Arena, I guess leave a comment and I'll post it. It's not super secret. I play a ton of Arena, basically. I don't mind playing colony games and kind of regular games, but I am kind of competitive at nature, so I play Arena. And I guess I'm above average because I'm considered a good player. My elo is usually in the 300s, mid 300s to kind of low 300s, depending on who I run into in Arena, because Arena has a lot of the top players. So I'll occasionally, more than occasionally, run into like a 4 or 5 or even a 600 elo player. And used to get my ass fucking stomped, and that still happens every once in a while. But now I'm able to usually only lose by like 10 or sometimes 1 or 2. And every once in a while, I'll get lucky and win against one of those guys. I can hold my own against 300 players and 200 players. I do actually weirdly lose against 110 players every once in a while. But it's a lack of concentration, honestly, is a lot of times. Because when I'm kind of amped and knowing what I'm doing, anything from 100 to about 250, 275, you can usually beat those guys. Just because they're players that play casually or they don't have as much experience as I do or whatever. Anyway, I'm saying I'm a lot today. Not trying to brag. I don't mind people knowing or coming on and trying to play or whatever, prove themselves. My elo is not that important to me, so it definitely could be higher if I didn't play an arena, because then I would play a lot more kind of lower elo players by intention or by just how things work out a lot of times. So that said, Terraforming Mars has a bunch of maps of Mars, and there is I don't know, a fairly large, there's a decent number of fan-made maps out there. So I have a big heart-on for retro 70s kind of science fiction-y sort of thing. So in that spirit, I am designing kind of a retro 70s map, which of course anyone that sees this can be like, oh, I can fucking beat you to the punch, and you're welcome to it. High tides float all boats. So as long as you're not ripping off my exact design, I'm not going to have a problem with you trying to do a retro 70s Terraforming Mars map if you want to, I guess. But this is mine. And so what I've been doing is I sort of did a rough layout. This is fucking huge too. This is like 4,000 by 3,000 pixels, which is many inches. I don't know. Did I do the math? Because I was like, how big would this print out if someone actually was dumb enough to want to do it? So PPI of 96 says that it's 41 and a half inches, but you'd be printing the thing out if you did an actual printer. In theory, print is 300 DPI. So if I did a 300 DPI export, which is dots per inch, I'm going to sing along to Billy Joel every once in a while too, and it's going to be bleak. So 13 inches, so a foot, a little bigger than a foot, which seems kind of small actually. I don't know what the actual maps are, because before I get too deep into it, I kind of want to know what the maps are. They have a regular map size, and then they have a what they call a big board map, I think, which is much larger. So anyway, if you have any like questions about any of the stuff that goes along, you can leave a comment, because I'm not doing a live stream right now. I might start doing, I have been doing kind of casual live streams, and I will more than likely start doing it more. So this person is doing sort of a custom thing. Dun, dun, dun. But he's not saying what size everything is. 5 unit hexagon, 61, okay. So yeah, let me look at this for a second. I could probably just keep designing, because I mean this is all vector graphics, so I can just fucking upscale it or whatever. But it's also ratio, right? Like this, these numbers need to be, what are they right now? They are 57 point font, so yeah, that could definitely get smaller. Because 54 point font is going to be pretty good sized. Dun, 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 dun. Board size, let's see if this has it. The board, the player mat, centimeters, eh? Board. It says board is larger than, oh, the player mats are smaller. 52 by 44 centimeters. Okay. See what the big board size is. I don't necessarily need to do the big board size, because I don't, I'm not going to be adding, this first one I'm going to do is just going to be the really basic Tharsis map. It's not going to have Venus expansion stuff on it and colonies and all the rest of that. That is for down the road a little bit. And I haven't even played there's a political one, and I haven't done that. We have the cool like wooden tile trays and all the rest of that, but I don't have the 3D trays. Let's see, Max, pocket token. Okay, these glasses are not doing it for me right now. Kickstarters, eh? I heard they run Kickstarters. I never checked them out. But I mean, this could be printed out and put on any kind of like cardboardy stuff in sheets, I guess. Alright. Alright, well, this is something that I can do later. Instead of boring you guys with, I mean, I can bore you guys with design work, or I can bore you with actual, or, you know, surfing on the internet, or actual design work. So I think we'll probably do the actual design work now. All right, so let's get back to that. All right, cool. Whoops, and then I need an example of one of the maps. There we go. So this left-hand side, I've sort of set up different artboards so that I can do multiple maps if I want at some point in the future. I've been messing around with the icons. I'm going to do them monochromatically, so it makes it a little harder to keep them. And if you don't know what all these icons are because you don't play the game, then it's not going to mean a lot to you. But the game has various icons. So these are the ones that I've come up with right now. Tags along the bottom. So we have a city tag, event, space, building. That has to be energy, or yeah, energy tag basically. Why is that fucking touching? Oh well. That was weird. Okay, animal, plant, microbe. I should do a little more with the microbe. Science, Earth, and Jupiter. Earth and Jupiter were tough in a way, but I feel like this is a pretty elegant solution. Some people might be like, oh, you need like the spot on Jupiter or whatever, but it's like, a little spot I don't think is as decisive as the 3 stripes. So some people might go, oh, it's like a Saturn tag, which I don't think is a thing. But a Saturn tag I could do like a sideways stripe on or something, and it would go fine. This little microbe, I think what I want to do is make more than one microbe on it, because the original one has three, I think three little doodads that are kind of like misshapen or whatever. So I had, I don't expect you to watch all of these things. I had one earlier that I was talking about the debate between like showing or not showing me down in the corner, because it's like not exactly the most photogenic guy, but I'm not really shy about it either, so I don't care. But I figure, I don't know, it's funny. It's like if people are just like, oh, fuck no, don't show your face or whatever. I don't think people will be like that. But if that's you, I mean, leave a comment and I'll take it under advisement. For now, you can sort of see my emotions when I'm talking. But I tended to cover up this lower part of the screen where the little picture-in-picture is, right? So I rearranged all my stuff in Illustrator to be above that line. So basically, I don't know why I'm looking over at the monitor of it, except I can't see the thing that's under here. So basically, you should be able to see all my menus, which is important. And some of them might get buried underneath. Like if I open up swatches, for example, I'm guessing, oh yeah, some of this stuff over to the left is covered up, but that doesn't really matter. You can see like the color palette and stuff that I'm using. This is I have a base retro science fiction thing that I use for Traveler, which I've done some streams on and I'll continue to do streams on. That basically is 4 colors, just these 4 right here. And this weird green I only use for really special shit. It's basically these 3. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. I'm trying to keep to just these 3, but I do have some other options down here if I want to do like special stuff or whatever. Anyway, close that. Uninspires me without a sound. Okay, so that's fine for now. Just like a little extra. I could put another fuzzy one over here somewhere. Shrink it down a little. What the fuck are you trying to do to me here? There we go. So that feels a little cluttered to me. I may come back around on it. But the awesome thing about this kind of creative work is you can change it. It's digital. There's the joke of like, some things are written in ink. It's like a life philosophy thing. It's like some things in your life are just written in ink, which implies they can't be erased, can't be changed or whatever. But it's like, that's not this. Digitally, you can pretty much erase or change anything you want. So don't get locked in to making something perfect first time through. It's a draft. It's going to change. Absolutely. If you are someone who needs to have things correct or the way that they need to be like the very first time, it is a hard life to lead. And I feel a little bad for you, honestly, because I change shit all the time. The icons that I've been doing for Traveler, for example, my partner keeps teasing me about it. It's like, oh, you're redoing those things again? Because I've redone them like 4-ish times. The ones that I have now, I feel like are it, and I feel like I've done this enough. What the fuck, dude? I've done this enough to know when something feels right at this point, and I sometimes know if something feels wrong, but I definitely know when something feels right, and the ones that I have now feel right, so they more than likely will stay. As for this, I'm generally happy with the large bulkiness of things. These, let's see here. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. Okay, so all of this, I'm happy with the general design of it, but the location is absolutely going to change because the game keeps track of points around the outside. And I could change that. Like, I could just put like a little point tracker, up and down here if I wanted to do or whatever. But is that just a change for change's sake? Because functionally, having the players working their way around the board in terraforming works fine, and it's kind of cool. And you want to keep the map doing map things. So, I get it. I am going to shrink this down now, though, because these hexes are fucking gigantic. Right? They are almost 250 pixels. So let's see what size. Still innocent somehow. Everybody loves you now. Alright. Board hexes 40 millimeter corner to corner. 156 inches, or 1.56 inches in freedom units. Tiles are slightly smaller at 39. So 40 millimeter quarter to corner. The round. Watch me get copyrighted for singing along to Billy Joel. That sounds exactly like something that fucking YouTube would do. Fair use, motherfuckers. Alright, so let's try, what did they say? 40 fucking millimeters. That's corner to corner, though. So shit. And of course, the angle in hexes is not, it's like 60 something. It's not like an exact deal. Oh, that worked out okay, because I have my locking mechanism. Alright, so that is not a 6-point fucking line, is it? Am I working that big that that's a 6-point line? Holy crap. Alright. Alright, so that is... Alright, I'm going to have to do this a different way. This is why I fail sometimes with Terraforming Mars, is the fucking math. Alright. End math game especially, like trying to figure out when the game is going to end. I'll be like, oh, we got another turn left, and then these like 500 ELO guys are like, no, the fuck you do, buddy. Should have dropped all your cool shit, because now you're fucked. Alright. Sunset Boulevard. See, it's not a 45 degrees, so that's kind of annoying. Well, you know, it is what it is. So, I'm probably being a little too precise about this, but I wouldn't mind it being compatible for physical pieces. Business too. I had this album, this Songs in the Attic, I think might have been my first Billy Joel album. It also might have been like 52nd Street or one of the really big ones, but it was one of my favorite albums because there's a bunch of songs in it that I hadn't heard. Okay, good. I can't change the size of that. And they're, you know, it's live stuff. Some people are really good live, obviously, and he's pretty energetic live, so that's cool. What did I do to this thing? Holy cow. Take your time. All right. Of course, I made rounded corners, so I don't have a place to lock. That's pretty close. Together. All right, so now, before we get confused here. But yeah, I listen to this so much, and you'll find out, I mean, if you're a young person, which probably statistically most of you are, you know, you go through that, oh, for fuck's sake, you go through that thing when you're a kid where you sort of listen to the same shit over and over again or watch the same movie like 100 times. You kind of outgrow that and kind of don't outgrow that. Like, there was definitely a period in my life where I didn't need to listen, you know, I was listening to different stuff basically all the time. But now that I'm older, I'm like, you know, rediscovering the stuff that I listened to as a kid, and I'll listen to it for like fucking 8 weeks in a row or whatever. It'll just be like, okay, I've been listening to this honestly for like a week now, almost every day. All right, so let's go 102. Is that going to make it slightly smaller? Or let's go 115 is easier to remember. Forever. That is slightly too small if I'm going to actually have tiles placed in there. Let's go 105 on the small. That seems pretty good, actually. Yeah, so that's closer to what it probably should be. All right, so that's going to create a mess. And you're going to get to watch that mess live. So what's going to happen now? Sometimes it says intersect and sometimes it says middle or center, sorry. And then it tries to line itself up. So that's good. There. And I managed to take my fucking hand off of it without screwing it all up. Alright, background black? What the fuck is that? Oh. Well, oh. So it's not background black anymore. It's background fucking gradient green. I talked on an earlier one that I don't use gradients in Illustrator that much because their gradient tool, I don't know, I'm just not into it. I don't feel like the tool is super good. It doesn't seem as good or intuitive as Photoshop. And so my design work also tends to be kind of flatter colors as well. But this kind of effect I like quite a bit, so that's why I used it. Illustrator had this thing, you'll hear me go off on this multiple times. Illustrator basically is a Frankenstein product. They had all these different programs that they bought from different different programmers, and they kind of sandwiched them together, and they're concentrating. I mean, they theoretically must know what they're doing as far as making money because they're still making money. But in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, they're concentrating on the wrong thing. So instead of getting the programs to work together better, they work in the respect that I could take this and I could export it into InDesign, for example, and put text around it. I could technically take it into Photoshop and vice versa, but I don't think there's dynamic linking in the respect if I change it, I have to relink it as opposed to it kind of changing automatically, which is what it kind of does in InDesign. So that's a little weird glitch. But the pen tool, for example, which is this thing, right, kind of works differently in every single one, which is a fucking pain in the ass. So it works more similar in InDesign and Illustrator, but the Photoshop pen tool, I don't even use it. I don't even know what the fuck it does. It creates a line, and then you have to go through like 4 other things to stroke the line, maybe? And then you can create masks from it or some shit. I don't know. It's fucking annoying. So there's a lot of stuff like that, basically, where they're just like, man, we don't give a fuck about this interactivity. We'd rather have you do like AI fucking extended backgrounds or whatever. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that, right? Like, I want functionality to improve on this shit. Oh, it's going to go sideways. And I don't think I can set a shrink point, right? Unless I can't set a specific point as far as I know. I bet I can. I bet there's a thing in there somewhere I can do. It does it based on a thing that isn't here. It's this thing right here. So I can't just designate a fucking point as far as I know. Maybe I can. I don't know. If somebody knows how to do that, feel free to let me know. I may look it up later. All right, so I don't need to shrink the background. Can't be a dummy about it. From your head down to your toes. All right, so I'm going to fucking lock this thing because I've had to do this like 8 times now. So that's Control 2, and that basically locks that specific item. So there's my polygon, and it's locked. And then I can do Control Alt 2 to unlock it. The bummer is, and I don't know how they get around it, but unlocking unlocks everything. So you could lock like 12 things, and if you just want one thing unlocked, you're still going to have to go into the layer palette like you just saw there and dick around. Well, I don't know why I'm lining this up so perfectly yet, because it doesn't matter. Getting closer. Holiday. Ooh, that's accidentally pretty close. Or maybe their AI tools are working a little better, because this is the kind of stuff, you know, where they should kind of figure out the program should figure out what I'm doing and be like, oh, dude, you want to do that thing? Well, yeah, we can do that thing for you. That's cool. That's pretty close, right? Like, I mean, it's off, but it's not like off. Nothing's cool. That's the thing you'll see with a lot of professionals. They'll be like, this looks fine like this, right? And then they'll dick around with it for like 10 more minutes. So that is slightly, very slightly smaller. All right, this is starting to get, so I'm going to control U to turn off the smart lineups. There we go. And now I don't get any of that other nonsense. Then I'm going to control Y. Oh, look at that. That is pretty close. So we're off just by a smidge. So I'm holding down Shift. So it goes proportionally. Friend in the parking lot. So this kind of detail may seem, after I talked about the microbe, like, oh, fuck that microbe. I'll just do whatever. I can change it later. This is the kind of stuff you start recognizing as important to get right the first time. Or, the design element you could potentially change, but to redo all these hexes, that is perfect enough, my friends. We're still, yeah, that's fine. There we go. All right, so that's what, oh God, that's so small. Is that too small? Because then I'm going to have so much space to fill. Well, let's do it and have all this space and then expand it if we need to, proportionally. Anyway, for me to kind of redo, I don't know if redo is the right word, but basically, like, that's something I want to get right because a whole bunch of other stuff is going to be dependent on it. So it's worth taking a little bit of extra. Why? Oh, planet. There we go. Cool. Oh, smart. Smart goes back on. You can immediately see these little pink word magenta. Oh. Now that theoretically should be, but it's not because it has too many things to key off of. So I go over here and grab my little doodad here. All right, let's try it one more time. Sometimes it takes a couple times to kind of get it to line up the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, that's too small. Oh, perfect. Yeah, see, it just needed to know what it's like. Sir, is this it? Is this it? And I'm like, yes, yes, it is. We'll keep you warm at the night. Oh, yeah, okay. This sometimes works so badly that when it works correctly, I'm so excited because it's so much time saving. All right, cool. Home can be the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Yeah, if you know anything about the game, these are a couple of cities you can place off planet. One is Ganymede, and the other is Phobos. Ganymede being a moon of Jupiter, and Phobos being a moon of Mars. Phobos and Deimos, the moons of Mars, are named after the sons of Ares, the god of war, which is Mars is named after. Now, there's not a whole lot of information on Phobos and Deimos in mythology. They're only mentioned, I think, a couple of times, and I think they might actually be, I might be misremembering. They might be like his fucking horses or something. They might, oh, fuck, I gotta do an even number. they might not be his sons, but whatever they are, they're tiny little moons. And there's an event card in the game called Deimos Down, where you can wreck Deimos into Mars in order to terraform, which is pretty funny. It's one of the best cards. It's definitely like an S tier card in that game. But for some reason in the game, you're able to colonize Phobos. Interestingly, Phobos is where phobia came from, and Deimos is one is terror and the other is fear. Phobos is fear. Deimos is, I think, terror or something. It's something that sounds like it should be the same, but there's a difference between fear and, I guess, being scared of something, or I don't know. There feels like there's probably like a very subtle difference between those two terms. See, that one is not happening as well as I want it to be, but I don't have two more rows to play with. I only have one. So I wonder, and I need a multiple of even multiple. I wonder if I just did a row, if it would line up better. Dun, 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 dun. No, it doesn't at all. Doesn't want to do it at all. I listened to that Shea Stadium concert that Billy Joel did, and the dude was like, I think he was fucking, I mean, he's still performing now, I think, and he's like in his 70s. But he was around 60. He was basically about my age now. And I'm like, God dang, like I stopped playing. I played contact flag football, which is basically flag football, but there's live rushing and blocking. It's not like the hands-off kind of stuff that the NFL is trying to promote now. It's still essentially football without pads. And I did that until I was way too old, late 50s basically. Yeah, see, that's not going to add up. And so, obviously, I can't actually honestly say if that's rougher than performing a live concert at Shea Stadium, but I gave him a lot of props for, it's clear that he'd aged, and, things happen to your voice as you get older, and there's no way that anyone, let's not call Billy Joel out on this. There's no way anyone can write a song in their 20s or 30s and have it resonate the same way when you're 60, right? Like it's just, he can't do it. And and he's done them these guys do these concerts a million times. They've done the song a million times. Interestingly, when you can sort of give the same emotional resonance as the first time you sung it, you might be somebody like Adam Duritz, who's the lead singer of Counting Crows, and he has some sort of dissociative disorder that makes him dissociate from reality, essentially. And, the optimistic or the good side effect of that is sometimes, it always to him feels like he's singing the song for the first time. Or at least that's the way it used to be. But anyway, this is all sounding like I'm fucking dragging Billy Joel's dick through the dirt or whatever. But no, it was pretty cool to see a dude. Because there's one thing like the energy basically was awesome. And he talks about he had a famous song when he was younger called Angry Young Man, which is just this banging piano thing, which I used to love when I was, an angry young man. And he's like, yeah, I got to do that song right out of the gate because it's like, it takes so much out of him that if he does it later in the concert, there's just no way that he can, maintain the ferocity of it or whatever. And I'm like, I feel you, brother. I feel you. Like, I quit football stuff way too late, and I definitely was not the same. There's kind of an awesome period in your 40s and whatnot where you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome, and I have the perfect combination of experience mixed with still having pretty good physical skills, right? It's like, yeah, sure, when you're NFL and you reach your 30s, unless you're a lineman or whatever, or quarterback, you can be done, but that game is elite, right? Those are the best guy. Like the worst guy in the NFL is still like the top 2,000 person on the planet Earth that can do that job, right? There's even a higher level of the guy, the guys that are like top 10 in the NFL. Like they're literally the only 10 people on the planet that can do that fucking job, right? So it's like when you lose even a teensy bit, like a 0.1% of your older physical abilities, you're done. And I get that. With the level I was playing at, it's like fuck. I was about the same in the 30s as I was in my 20s, honestly. Like I was faster in my 20s, but I was probably stronger in my 30s, and I definitely was more experienced, right? So there was a whole decade through my 30s, into my probably even early 40s, where there wasn't really that kind of drop off. There was a little bit of physical drop off, but it was more than compensated for by experience. And then as I got older, it's like, all right, well, now the physical stuff is starting to kill me, and it's all compensating with the mental stuff. We won a tournament when I was 51. I think I was 51. Might have been 53. I can't remember. But regardless, I got an MVP in that for defensive line work stuff. And, there was no way I was as strong or as fast as the dudes that were trying to block me when I was going in, but I was fucking crafty. So it was like I was able to and plus I had a very specific job that the defensive coordinator had given me. And I did that job because I didn't have any kind of like delusions of grandeur, or any kind of like, oh, I'm going to go off and do my own because I'm better than the team, kind of like you do your fucking job. Oh, that's going to be a pain in the ass, isn't it? So that was kind of awesome because it was the only MVP that I ever won in anything, and it was the only tournament that way, because we were okay, but we weren't like spectacular, and we'd won like local leagues and stuff like that. But this was kind of one of those. We played, I don't know, six games in 2 days. We played 4 on Saturday and 4 on Sunday, which was a lot, and I was out of it for the next probably 2 weeks or more. Like the first couple of days, I lived in a 2-story cottage, and I was bear crawling on all 4s up the stairs to get up the stairs. Like otherwise my knees and joints and stuff just were like, nope, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, okay, well, sounds good. I'll just go do that now. And when I was in my 20s, teens and stuff too as well, it's like we'd play pickup tackle with no pads, just straight tackle fucking football. And we'd do that a couple times a weekend sometimes. We'd play on Saturday, and then we'd play on Sunday. And then this one year I remember going out for turkey bowls on Thanksgiving, where you can just play, pickup games everywhere with people to tackle, and it's all these guys that haven't played for years or whatever, and I had still been keeping it up, so I was doing pretty well in that. And I remember driving around after each game would end, and I'd just go find another game. And I think I played, oh, God dang it, I think I played 4 or 5 games that day, to the point where when I quit, it was because my thighs basically just gave out. Like, I wasn't bruised up and hurt. That came later. But my muscles were so fatigued, they just stopped working. And I ended up driving home and then just like crawling into a bathtub and trying to soak. I was never a cold ice guy, although those guys freaking swear by that. But oh, God dang it. But yeah, I was never that guy. I was too much of a wuss. But anyway, and as you get older, it's like playing once a week. For fuck's sake. This is a nightmare. A nightmare. A dream for some, a nightmare for others. If you know what movie that's from, leave a comment. Anyway, I just did it again. What am I doing? Just using the... Why is it duplicating? Is it actually duplicating? It is, but it shouldn't be. That's so weird. Because duplicating is the... That's duplicating. Oh, there's a fucking... There's a version on top of it. I duplicated and didn't go back far enough. It's on satin sheets. A few more times I can say. Anyway, there's a lot of aspects of aging that are good. Health, honestly, is one of the only negative ones. Well, and I'm speaking broadly, like I know people have different experiences and it might be different for a lot of people, but for me, I mean, mentally, you still feel like you're young. There you go. But, you know, physically, you just kind of break down. So it's never too late to start walking or doing some kind of exercising or managing your eating or that kind of thing. I also stupidly, in my mid-30s, I don't want to say stupidly because I enjoy doing it, but it's not a great idea. In my mid-30s, I started smoking cigars, so that definitely has not helped things like my cardio. And oh, I got rid of the... Oh, no, they're still there. Where are my little orbital things? Oh, they're just... It's just smaller. That's what it is. Okay. Woo! So that took a while, didn't it? Let's do a little time check on here, because I usually like to keep these things 45 minutes to an hour, which is probably too long anyway. We're at 41. So, all right, so that's now more or less sized. Oh, now I get to go check to see if YouTube just automatically paused my video, because they like doing that. Oh no, that was just the end. I went through that whole album? That's a bummer. Try to find something else. I think I'll just restart it. Cool. But yeah, for me, it's physical. Like, I'm definitely starting to kind of forget stuff here and there. I don't know whether or not I will end up suffering from any kind of head trauma. Football is not exactly the safest thing to do, and especially when you haven't been using pads most of your life. Although, honestly, there was an increase in head injuries when they got the better helmets because the guys kind of stopped protecting themselves. So, much like rugby, when you're playing without pads, you protect yourself, right? You're not going to charge in there head first because you're going to get messed up. All right, so the temperature gauge traditionally is on the left. I don't know if I want to follow that tradition or not. I do like my... Oh, good. Okay, good. I was happy that these are... Palisades. Ooh. Concert out in Brooklyn. 46, that's still huge. So I can go half, right? So let's go 1,000. Ooh, that looks so small. Still 21-point font though. Holy cow. Oh, you know, I should match these size to these, to the other hexes. That seems really obvious. They won't be lined up exactly, but... Did I delete? I deleted my red one, didn't I? Like a dummy. Oh, I did. What an idiot. I guess they're all red. I guess they're all that size now, which is why I did it. Look at that Spanish Civil War. Flames are everywhere. No one really cared. That's pretty close, right? Yeah. Now, if I really was smart about this, All right, so let's lock this down. Okay, cool. Oh, I watch the mighty skyline fall. Damn it. Workflow, this is one of those things where I mass grouped this thing, but I should have grouped each of these individually with the numbers like this, because then I can move them independently. So I could group that, and then when I attached this to it, group that with that. Oh, and I forgot my little water droplets. So let's do this. Let's lock this. Nice. Cool. I used to, well, I still do. So these have these little rocker switches on the front of them here that you can program shortcut keys and whatnot. And I have a little pad somewhere too. I don't know where it's at now. I don't use it as often. But for me, this front rocker is always the hand tool. And then the back rocker is always undo. And that's set up for, see, I just did the back rocker there to undo that. But I know that there have been specific jobs, like if I'm working on a multi-page document and I'm having to copy a bunch of text for some reason because the importing is being weird or whatever. I remember one where I had this front one done as copy and the back one done as paste. So I could just be like copy in this program, paste in this program. So this type of workflow right now, and this would probably be better for the little tablet thing that I have that augments, that I'm able to program more stuff into. If I was smart, I'd probably do like a group, because I do grouping a lot. I would do like a group button so that I could just be like highlight button, instead of having to lean over here and do like Control G or whatever it is. So that's something to think about when you're doing projects, is if there's going to be a repeated thing, and you may or know this, but like if there's going to be a repeated thing, definitely program it. Oh, really? I swear I've grouped you, dude. Group that one, group that one, group that one, group that one. So yeah, definitely do some kind of thing that will save you a million clicks later on. All right, so these are uneven, or these have us, yeah, so do I go here? That's not bad. Huh? Let's just rough it in here for a second. These are not the best times. They're the only times I've ever known. Looks pretty good. Normally there's just like a thing that just has 9 for the number of oceans. This, when you're terraforming, you're like putting stuff down. So you're doing like oceans and asteroids and that kind of thing. And it's usually just like, hey, you have a stack of the tiles, and it's like, oh, there's 9 left. But in this case, you could lay the tiles out and kind of grab them and get a sense of how many are left a little better. Yes, and a song for you. It's completely illogical, but there's a part of me, must be old days from ink or something, where it's like, I don't want to have stacked graphics because, you know, is the printer going to try to print this hex and then print this hex on top of it? It's not, you know, but there's a pretty good chance I'll go through and delete the hexes that are underneath these hexes just to make everything cleaner. Reason coexists for insanity. What I really should have done, well, actually I still can do that. So those are more or less placed, but here's what we'll do. Do that, and then we'll do an align thing, which is basically a distribute. So all of those are now equally spaced. So if this one is accurate and that one is accurate, all these middle ones are accurate. As I punch in here, you see a little bit of inaccuracy. So that's why I did that. Oh, actually, each other's fantasy. Oh, these could be the wrong size too. What size are these? This is a level of detail I probably shouldn't be doing now, but I want to. Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, so now comes the decision if I go and do this with all of these. Oh, I think I can actually. There's a way to do that. I'll show you. This will be a cool little lesson of a thing if it works out. You can't grab the middle of these things when you've got this outline mode. What is going on? Did I just not group any of this shit? Oh. Lock down into it. So yeah, if it's like this, then I can just grab this here and move it around. But if it's like that, I gotta grab a freaking line. That's not right. It's not right. What are you doing to me here? That's right. Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay, so now if I grab all these, so it probably micro adjusted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to move them down. There we go. And then I'm going to align them up. Still seem a little off. Oh, it's because that one's off. Is this one off too? Yep, this is going to take a little more work than I thought here. All right, so space-wise, those are equal, but these are obviously unequal. Nope. Nope. Assuming this is even this, I guess this must be the center of this thing. Center! But see my hand slip? Because it's old. Okay. I don't know that I can get any better than that. 3 lives. But basically, once I get these 2 end ones done, the rest of them will fall into place. And then I'll show you the little scaling thing you can do, which is really cool. See, this one won't say center for some reason. It's being a pain in the ass. Because otherwise it would be consistent. All right, so distribute. Align top. And now these ones look off still. Well, no, they look. See, this one looks correct. It could be the underlying hexes are off, in which case, nothing I can do about that. I wonder if I did. All right, I'm going to give this one more shot, and then I'm going to try the, I'm going to show you the scaling thing, because it's just getting tedious here. Okay, so now they're all aligned that way. I'll try a different method here. Let's group them. Okay, so they are in alignment with each other. They better be. Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to ungroup them. You may not have to, I don't know. And now they are all selected, right? And then you do object, transform, transform each. And now you got this little doodad right here. Oop. And I'm going to make them all very slightly larger. Object, transform each. Okay. Scale. Horizontal and vertical. Scale corners. And you can do all kinds of stuff. You can copy them, that kind of thing. Oh, there we go. I was like, where's my lock and doodad? Oh, look at that. 106, what's 105 look like? $105 is it. Good enough. Boom. Done. And then, oop, and I grab this. And then I figure out where I want this to end, which is probably there. I have different opacities set on, which is why you can see the lines through these things. They're all kind of multiply, which basically kind of like layers the colors together, make them look a little different. You can see how that's a certain color of green, that number 1 there, and then you see how it changes because it's like putting a little window over it because the one itself is multiply, which means you can kind of see through it. All right, that looks pretty cool. So that is going to hit us about an hour, probably over an hour. So that'll be it for tonight. And I'll keep working on it, probably. And may stream this again. Hope you learned something, I guess. I don't know. Hope you had fun. Anyway, thank you, and hope to see you again.